Let's hear it for Stolen Thunder. That's just an appetizer of what's to come. Hola, buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo. Good morning. I'm Tim, and I serve gratefully as your minister. Feliz Dia del Padre. Happy Father's Day. Welcome to all on this Juneteenth morning, 2022, and second year now, a federal holiday, and also we continue Happy Pride Month. Bienvenidos a la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. We welcome everybody on our virtual campus this morning, and welcome to everybody on our Alluvial Ave church campus that is packed today to the rafters. See, they'll believe whatever we say on the virtual campus. We are one congregation in many places. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. We acknowledge that our Alluvial Avenue Church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yokuts and Mono peoples, the original and ongoing stewards of this land. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, religious beliefs, disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, your level of education, or your neurodiversity. You're welcome with or without documentation. We welcome you in the fullness of your beautiful humanity, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, non-binary, gender fluid, or questioning. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus and you wish to share a personal joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude on both the virtual and Alluvial Avenue campuses, type it now in the chat box. Our ushers will write them down and give them to me so I can include them later in the service. During an election, I, from the pulpit, am never allowed to advocate or support a specific candidate that would endanger our nonprofit status. But I don't think there's any rules after an election. So I just want us to acknowledge the heroic work of candidate Lauren Hubbard, lifting up progressive values. A first-time unknown candidate, 42%. Amazing as far as I'm concerned. Now, in the chat box, in person, or in the silence of your heart, let's take a moment to greet one another. First, I just want to welcome our kids are with us this morning for the first part of the service. I think this is the third time since March, so welcome to our amazing young people. We have picked our prelude, that's a bevy of peas, picked our prelude because it is an up-tempo. So if the Spirit moves you to dance, I hope you will join me, because I will be dancing up here. Let the sound of the tingsha take us to that quiet place within that knows everybody, no matter how we are, can dance inside our heart.
If I know what I know today, 10 years ago, I wonder where I'd be on my journey now. But I'm here this morning, and I know what I'm here to do. I'm here to give thanks for the joy of living my life with you. Well, I woke up early this morning. I was feeling mighty bad, and I searched my heart, found a reason why. Instead of thinking about where I am, I was thinking about where I've been, and forgot to give thanks for the joy of living my life with you. That's all I need to do, and I've got to give thanks for the joy of living my life with you. Some days I get weary when I'm tired of keeping on. I look around and see my work is not done. Well, I'm here this morning, people, you know what I'm here to do. I'm here to give thanks for the joy of living my life with you. I said I'm here to give thanks for the joy of living my life with you. I'm here to give thanks for the joy of living my life with you. Woo! Yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was awesome.
Good morning. I'm Tina Fernandez-Botts, a member of the worship arts team. On Sunday mornings all over the world, Unitarian Universalists are lighting a flame in an open chalice as a symbol of our shared faith. For me, the chalice represents being held by the grace of the universe. The flame represents the light that guides me forward in the journey of life. It also represents the fire of change, the fragility of faith and eternity. I hope you will join me in lighting a chalice or candle of your own this morning. Let's now join our voices in our song of praise.
And our song of praise this morning is Turn the World Around. We picked it especially for the kids because it has the words, turn the world around. You are invited, if you wish, when you sing Turn the World Around, to spin. You don't have to, but you can. Everybody up, turn the world around.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We come from the fire, living through the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. We come from the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? See each other clearly, turn the world around. Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? See each other clearly, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life.
Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life.
Water make the river, river watch the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit and the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit. Only can the spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life.
Woo! I invite us to remain standing as we speak together our mission. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. If we stay 6 feet, we can do it if we want to take off. So, we are going to continue this madness of movement this morning, at least one more time. We're going to do a body blessing. Because one of the things that we really learn from our kids, and then many of us forget as we start getting older, is that our bodies are so alive with energy, with spirit. And if we're just thinking about spirituality of the head or the heart, we're missing a whole lot of the rest of us. So our words, if they appear like magic, are peace be with me, peace before me, peace to the right of me, peace behind me, peace to the left of me, peace above me, peace below me, peace within. And our motions are going to be, and they're absolutely not mandatory, it's going to be peace be with me, and then peace before me like you're pushing, peace to the right of me, peace behind me like a tail, peace to the left of me, peace above me. This is the hard part for some of us, peace below me, peace within. You can do any variation of that. If you feel moved, let's rise in body or spirit, and let's bless each other with this body prayer.
Peace be with me, peace before me, peace to the right of me, peace behind me, peace to the left of me, peace above me, peace below me, peace within right of you, peace behind you, peace to the left of you, peace above you, peace below you, peace within, peace be with us, peace before us, peace to the right of us, peace behind us, peace to the left of us, peace above us, peace below us, peace within, peace be with us, peace before us, peace to the right of us, peace behind us, peace to the left of us, peace above us, peace below us, peace within, peace within, peace within, peace within.
And let's take a deep breath in together. And we release into our seats. And Eva, you are going to take the kids off to their religious exploration. So all the kids come meet Eva right here. And we're going to sing you all out. So all the kids come to Eva. Yay, come on.
2, 3,
Hooray.
4.
Doing our love as you go, may your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
When the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan, many of us in this congregation asked, what can we do to help? Immediately, an amazing group of church members responded to that question, creating the Afghan Resettlement Project. We sponsored and are sponsoring a family of refugees who had to flee Afghanistan for their lives and are rebuilding their lives here in Fresno. Amanda Dinscore will join us on the virtual campus to just give us a little update about what has happened in the last few months. And so the lights can come down for Amanda on virtual campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Dinscore. I've been a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno for about 6 years now. I've had the opportunity to lead our church's efforts to sponsor an Afghan family who has recently immigrated to the United States. Today, I wanted to provide an update on how things are going and to thank everyone who has so generously contributed to this effort. As many of you know, last year, the United States withdrew its troops after 2 decades in Afghanistan. The Taliban quickly seized control, and thousands of Afghans, many of whom worked alongside U.S. forces, were forced to flee their homes. The Department of Homeland Security responded by launching Operation Allies Welcome and has partnered with agencies across the United States to support vulnerable Afghans. Beginning in January 2022, our church has been part of this effort. A team of us have been working with a local resettlement agency to sponsor a family of 6, 2 adults and 4 young children between the ages of 1 and 9 who have settled in Fresno. Since January, when we first met our family, our team has worked with the resettlement agency to help them set up a permanent home. We supplied furniture with the help of wings and member donations, beds, bedding, rugs, a TV, groceries, and all the necessary supplies to start a home. We also helped them move their belongings from the Airbnb where they were temporarily housed. Since then, we've met with the family at least once a week and have registered them in school and gotten the 2 older kids set up with computers provided by Fresno Unified. We've also helped them find a pediatrician who speaks their language and take them to medical appointments. They've learned how to use public transportation, but we've also set up our vehicles with car seats for the kids so that we can transport them when needed. In addition, Mark was able to get them really nice bicycles, helmets, and locks for the father and the 3 oldest kids, which, as you can see, they are very proud of. This truly has been a team effort. Vicki has been there every step of the way and is always willing to do whatever is needed to support the family. Cheryl has contributed regular boxes of fresh produce, and Betty has provided plants for their home and clothing and toys for the children. Kathy and Ed have delivered and baby-proofed furniture, helped set up their TV, and will soon be teaching the kids how to swim. Debbie will soon be providing personalized English lessons for the adults. My own family, Mark, Alex, and Ben, have been there for tech support, moving help, and more. We've also had a lot of fun. Despite our language barriers, we've gotten to know the family and have enjoyed amazing meals together and trips to the park with their friends and family. The father of our family has 2 siblings who are being settled here in town, and they live near each other. We've gotten to know many members of their community and have been happy to be able to support them as they establish their lives here. This is a long-term commitment, and we've relied on the generosity of the congregation to support this family as they become self-sufficient. We've been amazed by your generous donations and the time and energy that has been devoted to this family. If you have any questions, please contact me or contact any other member of the team. You can also visit the church's Give page on the website. Thank you for your time and for your interest in supporting this amazing family.
I'm so proud of what we've been able to do together, how we put our Unitarian Universalist values into action, and again to lift up Amanda Dinscore for her extraordinary leadership of this extraordinary team. I invite us together to take a centering and calming breath in, breathing in peace. We hold a moment. We breathe out love. Again, breathing in peace. We hold a moment. We breathe out love into the world. One more time together, breathing in peace. We hold. We breathe out love. We continue breathing together and allow that breath to take us back over the last 7 days of our living. As you rest in the memories of the last week, if you had to sum up the past week for yourself in one word, what would it be? You can also type that in the chat box on our virtual campus. And now as we breathe and enter more fully this Sunday and this new week that will unfold around us, what is one word you'd like to experience in the week ahead? Plant that intention, that sacred seed to take root and bloom through these next 7 days. As I look out and see each one of us here today, knowing also on our virtual campus so many are gathered, we're holding in our hearts a mix of emotions, joys, sorrows, gratitudes, concerns. On this Father's Day, we'd like to honor all fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers, and great-great-grandfathers, as well as all those who care for, teach, mentor, or befriend persons younger than them. This week, we also continue celebrating Pride Month. Some of us, as they enter the sanctuary, others of us on our virtual campus, wrote down personal joys, sorrows, gratitudes, concerns that you wanted us to hold collectively. Betty P. is feeling grateful that our nation has declared Juneteenth a national holiday. Lauren is feeling gratitude and joy for all of the support he received in his campaign and joyful that it is over. His family missed him. From our virtual campus, Jamie J. is feeling joyful that her partner Lisa is helping Jamie to see and know the power of love in ways that come from a healthy love. Sending you much love, Jamie, on our virtual campus. Jackie N. has a great joy. Jackie says, I'm younger than Paul McCartney. And we do have some sorrows alive among us this morning that we will now hold together. Mark B. lost a good friend of 28 years to HIV. Please send him a good prayer. Thank you. Love, Mark. Holding you, Mark, and your dear friend. Evan S. is feeling a sorrow that his friend Robert Cody has gone missing in the Arizona desert for a week. I hope they find him. Evan, holding Robert and his family in our thoughts, our wishes, and our prayers. Kay is feeling a sorrow, and it is one that we as a congregation collectively hold. A good friend of the congregation, active here for many years, Molly Cantos, has died. She faced many challenges, but she was part of the Raging Grannies. She brought light and love into the world, and for many, many years was a dear friend to Nellie Anna before she died at 102 years of age. So we're lifting up the life of Molly on this morning. We remember, too, our beloved church members and friends who are living with health challenges, compromised mobility, or other impacts to their well-being. We lift up Donna P., who continues to be in the hospital, facing now almost a month of hospitalization. I'm excited that tomorrow I'll be able to spend some time with her. They're going to allow visitors. We lift up Edith H., William H., Laura G., Glenda R., Pat M., Al G., Brandon E., and Josephine J. We continue to await the inevitable and forthcoming decision that will dismantle Roe v. Wade, plunging our nation into a crisis of forced pregnancy and forced parenthood. In my mind, that is immoral. Pro-choice, pro-body autonomy. This week, we celebrated International Domestic Workers' Day, and we acknowledge that domestic workers are among the most economically and physically vulnerable among us. And yesterday was the Poor People's Campaign Washington, D.C. mass mobilization of poor people and low-wage workers in a moral march for equity, a campaign that kicked off in May of 2019 in D.C. and its state capitals, and this congregation sent a busload of folks up to Sacramento for that kickoff. The Poor People's Campaign's goal is to change the very course of this country by centering the poor in our laws, policies, and politics. So for all that has been shared, for all that we hold in the sacred silence of our own hearts, we light our candle of community. As is our custom, we light a second candle, this for the over 6.32 million citizens of our nation, of this world, who have lost their lives in the pandemic. 1 million, over 1 million of whom are Americans. Today, we will light a third candle to celebrate Juneteenth, the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States. As last year's proclamation naming it as a federal holiday stated, the observance of June 19th as African American Emancipation Day also spotlights the moral stain and terrible toll of slavery on our country and the long legacy of systemic racism, inequality, and inhumanity that impacts Black Americans to this day. Juneteenth is also a celebration of the resilience and the culture of Black Americans. On this Juneteenth, may we, as Unitarian Universalists, recommit ourselves to the work of equality, equity, and justice. And if you're on our virtual campus and you would like to celebrate June 19th, just type J in the chat box as we light this candle of recognition. Our call to meditation this morning comes to us from India, from the extraordinary spiritual reservoir that is the Sikh faith. These words are ancient words of healing, hope, and transformation. It means there is a truth that has been, there is a truth that is now, there is a truth that will be through all times. We are held in this truth and in this love. Let us chant. Our musical reflection comes from poet and activist Amanda Gorman. These words were written in the wake of the gun massacres in Buffalo and Uvalde. The words are entitled Hymn for the Hurting. We will also hear this as a brand new song The melody was composed by our own Lorenzo Bassman, and Amanda Gorman has given her blessing to Lorenzo's musical setting of her beautiful, heartbreaking, prophetic poem.
Everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, minds made muddled and mute. We carry tragedy, terrifying and true, and yet none of it is new. We knew it as home. It's horror as heritage. Even our children cannot be children, cannot be. Everything hurts, it's a hard time to be alive, and even harder to stay that way. We are burdened to live out these days, while at the same time blessed to outlive them. This alarm is how we know we must be altered, that we must differ or die, that we must triumph or try. Thus, while hate cannot be terminated, it can be transformed into a love that lets us live. Everything hurts, it's a hard time to be alive, and even harder to stay that way. We are burdened to live out these days, while at the same time blessed. Everything hurts, it's a hard time to be alive, and even harder to stay that way. We are burdened to live out these days, while at the same time blessed to outlive them. We may not agree but give, we will not just say but act. May our side right to bear arms never blind us from our shared home. May we choose our children over chaos. May another innocent never be lost. Maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts. May everything change. May everything change.
The words of Elizabeth Fow. On long journeys, I find the tools and maps I need are tucked away beneath the surface of things in secret pockets of my own heart. I can measure my steps from here to there in months and years and countless joys and pains. A landscape that echoes the altitude of grief, the latitude of learning, the longitude of love. I carry something beyond the physical evidence of travel, harboring the echo of voice and image of heart that taught me to celebrate and to grieve and allowed me to see how hearts remain a witness to the map of love. Let's sing about the journey of our lives. Let it be a dance. Please rise in body or spirit.
2, 3, 4, 1.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing wrong's then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Please be seated. I think we can give our appreciation once again to Stolen Thunder. Marie. Marie just turned 52 years old, got divorced, and set up her first dating profile on Match.com. Getting back into the dating scene after 25 years just feels strange, she told me. I've met a couple of people already, but they have had so much emotional baggage. She paused and then laughed honestly. Emotional baggage. But you know, don't we all? Author Jamie Hughes writes, "The longer a life, the challenge is not the distance between destinations, but the difficulty of traveling light. My soul's a suitcase packed full, one half filled with what was, the other with what should be." Rosalind Johnson picks up on that sentiment, saying, "There's a luggage limit to every passenger on an airplane flight. The same rules apply to your life. You must eliminate some baggage before you can fly." But you know, I think that there are two kinds of emotional baggage. There's the heavy kind that weighs down our spirit, leads us to make unskillful choices, causes us to overreact, drives us to become guarded, or in some way tugs us far from our best selves. That is the emotional baggage of hurts, wounds, failures, disappointment, and the inevitable losses that accompany a life. But you know, there is a second kind of emotional baggage. This emotional baggage is the source of lightness of being. It reminds us of hope and happiness. It nourishes us with the warmth of memory, opens our bruised heart, and whispers truths that we've long forgotten. This baggage invites us to remember when our lives were infused with moments of kindness, connection, wonder, synchronicity, grace, peace, and pleasure. It helps recall us to our best selves again. This knapsack represents for me that second kind of emotional baggage. This knapsack is old. I think I bought it in 1987. Some of you weren't even born yet. Its back straps, I'll show you, are frayed, ripped, worn, and threadbare. It's the kind of knapsack that I'm kind of embarrassed to carry onto the plane because people just kind of look at you. But this piece of carry-on baggage has been through so much of my life with me. From that day, some 35 years ago, when I carried it out of the EMS store, Eastern Mountain Sports Store, this has been my good baggage. Oh, the places this bag has gone. So many years ago, this bag was carried backstage at theaters, cabarets, and concert halls in Boston, Massachusetts, where I worked as a producer and a director and as an agent for some extraordinary singers. A lifetime ago, this bag carried countless CDs. Who remembers CDs? Remember when we used to say that about records? Now CDs. A lifetime ago, this bag was full of CDs, and it carried them into Boston radio stations, where I hosted a popular radio program featuring Broadway music and interviews with the great stage stars that were coming through town. This bag still glows from the sheer joy that I experienced in those radio days. For almost 3 decades, this bag rode back and forth on buses between Boston and New York City more times than I could ever count. It holds the echoes of some of the best and worst Broadway plays and musicals produced in the last 35 years, including the original cast of Rent and the Broadway debut of young Daniel Radcliffe, otherwise known as Harry Potter. This bag even sat under the seat in front of famed composer Stephen Sondheim at an off-Broadway production of one of his musicals. I was sitting right in front of him. I like to believe Stephen Sondheim's feet actually touched that bag. Long ago, this bag, it carried the hopes and dreams of 2 love-struck young men as Jim and I headed off for our first vacation together as a couple. That was back when I had a lot of hair. 26 years after that vacation, that bag was with me in a Boston courtroom as the judge granted our divorce, and 2 lives that I thought would always be together went their separate ways. This bag was with me as I learned to walk solo into the new blessings I would discover in life's next chapter. For 8 years, that bag carried my lunch to Harvard Business School, where I worked in the Office of the Alumni Career Services, assisting alums as they navigated the challenges of career change, some forced, some self-selected. It was there I learned to listen to people's stories, to really listen when people shared from their heart. I learned there to ask gentle questions that allowed them to discover their own answers and next steps, a precursor to what would ultimately become my own call to ministry. In September of 1992, the year Bill Clinton first ran for president, this bag traveled with me in my rusty Chevy Citation as I drove from Boston to Santa Fe, New Mexico, called out into the starkness of that desert by something I could not name but could only feel and respond to. There, in that New Mexico enchanted land of mesas and endless sky, I met a yoga master who would teach me an ancient spiritual practice and forever change the direction of my life. Traveling back to Boston, this bag I carried up the steps of Arlington Street Church for the first time. It was there at Arlington Street Church that I discovered Unitarian Universalism, this faith of radical welcome, this faith that allowed a 28-year-old gay man to sit in the pews and invited him to be fully who he was in every sense of the word. It was there that I learned that our Unitarian Universalist religion is for joy and for love, for comfort and challenge, for justice and beloved community. It was there that I felt the call to become a Unitarian Universalist minister. Filled with notebooks and research papers, this bag then spent 5 years traveling back and forth from my apartment to Harvard Divinity School as I studied for my Master of Divinity degree. It spent a summer in the burn unit at Massachusetts General Hospital, where I trained as a student chaplain and learned lots about death and even more about life. Filled with anticipation, this bag headed down south to the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia, to the Unitarian Universalist Community Church of Glen Allen, a new congregation who called me to be their first official minister. This bag carried my first sermons written as a newly ordained minister. Oh, bag, I apologize that you had to carry those early sermons. It was present as church members marched through the streets of Richmond demanding living wage for city workers, and was swept into City Hall, where long before marriage equality was the law of the land, we rallied for the right to have marriage licenses issued to all who wished to wed, the first time that happened in Virginia's capital city. After a few years, that bag then headed back up north to a suburb of Boston, where I was called to be the 36th minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading, Massachusetts. I was charged with overseeing a multi-million-dollar expansion of the church campus while welcoming so many young families into the loving embrace of Unitarian Universalism that we soon added a second service. It was a time of abundant growth as well as many farewells as beloved elders passed into the mysteries of death. Nico, as I make my way back, I'm going to go to the pulpit mic because I'm getting crackling on the portable. This bag and I have journeyed far together. It was with me on 2 witness trips to Israeli-occupied Palestine. It soaked up the anguish in Palestinian refugee camps. It rubbed against the massive cement apartheid walls that keep Palestinians separated from their homes and farmlands. It reeked of human-manufactured madness as I was tear-gassed by the Israeli Defense Forces at a nonviolent protest in the Palestinian village of Begin. I also carried this bag into Auschwitz in Poland with my father, where we stood speechless at that place of incomprehensible inhumanity. We mourned how cycles of cruelty are so easily passed forward. 10 years ago, terrified, truly terrified, I carried this bag into Kabul, Afghanistan, to meet people who were working to rebuild a free society after the fall of the Taliban. This bag is infused with their courage. This bag bumped along with me in the back of a truck as I track lions with wildlife preservationists at the Salati Game Preserve in South Africa. It went into the rainforests of Uganda in search of endangered African mountain gorillas and bore witness at Rwanda's heartbreaking Museum of Genocide. Iraqi security forces opened this bag and searched it for explosives before allowing me to enter and worship at some of the holiest shrines in the Islamic world, in the sacred city of Karbala, Iraq. That Islamic spiritual energy forever vibrates within this bag. A year later, in Iran, this bag was carried through the stunning gardens of Isfahan, considered some of the most beautiful in the world. Since then, it's been to China and multiple countries in Central Asia as I explored the route of the ancient Silk Road, 1,800 892 years of Silk Road travel and trade are within the fibers of this bag. This bag made many trips to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. First, and I think we should have a side that says Pittsburgh. Do we know? Yes, there we go. First, for joyful holiday visits back home to Mom and Dad. Then, as my mom was dying, it made bi-weekly trips there, Thursday through Saturday. This bag carrying the computer with which I would write my Sunday sermons in airports, on the plane, and at her deathbed. It made the trip again to Pittsburgh as I moved my dad into senior living. And then ultimately, more of those Thursday through Saturday visits as he grew ill, struggled, and finally faded into the mysteries of death. This bag sat near the front door as I empty my dad's apartment, clearing it out for the next elder who would, for a time, call that place home. Into it, I tucked black and white photos from Dad's childhood, his Army dog tags, a paperweight from his first factory that he managed, mementos from cruises he and Mom enjoyed, and the prayer I offered at their 50th wedding anniversary celebration. All reminders of a long life well lived. Over the last 8 years, this bag has made many trips to Seattle, where my sister and her family live, where we make new family memories. This bag was with me 7 years ago, as for the first time, I walked past those plastic sequoia tree trunks at the Fresno International Airport. What were they thinking? There, in the shadow of the giant plastic sequoias, I was greeted by the ministerial search team from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. It was with me during a whirlwind week of potlucks and Q&A sessions prior to the vote to call me as the next minister, lucky enough to serve this congregation. Who here was there for that vote? It'd be interesting. Wow, there's a lot who were not, so many newer folks to the congregation. That's exciting. This bag was here for my first summer in Fresno. Oh my God, what was I thinking? That was the summer ash kept falling from the sky during raging wildfires, coating my car. That first summer, I would just stare at the bag, wondering if it was actually gonna melt when the temperature topped 115 degrees. I had never experienced 115 degrees in my life. This bag is now infused with the best of California's Central Valley. Farm stand Armenian cucumbers. Let's hear it for Armenian cucumbers. World famous peaches and our city's greatest treasure, freshly picked Fresno State corn. Let's hear it for Fresno State corn. This bag has felt the spray from Yosemite's roaring springtime waterfalls and absorbed the scent of wildflowers growing above Pine Flat Dam. This bag felt outrage at Black Lives Matter vigils and heard pleas at City Hall for a proactive, protective rental inspection program. This bag was in Washington, D.C. at the kickoff of the Poor People's Campaign in May of 2019. It was even arrested with me for nonviolent protest at the Capitol. And this bag watched the pride flag fly for the first time at Fresno City Hall. And then something that I never expected this bag would do. In March of 2020, this bag carried our congregation's candle of community from this sanctuary out through those doors and into my home when the pandemic locked us down. Last June, this bag carried our candle of community, now accompanied by our candle of COVID deaths, back into the sanctuary when we reopened our Alluvial Avenue campus alongside our virtual campus, becoming one congregation in many places. So, why have I shared with you so much of my own personal journey? I promise you it's not self-indulgence. Why does my own good baggage matter to you? Because it's a reminder that you have good baggage too. We tend to focus on negative baggage. We all have that. But there is something more beyond that. There is good baggage that holds the positive and transforming memories of the journeys of our lives. We all have good baggage, baggage that reminds us where we've been and how we've gotten to be who we are in this moment. We need good baggage to remind us of the journey through the years, the faces, places, stories, the fullness of who we have become, the fullness of who we will continue to become. Elizabeth Fowl writes, "On long journeys, I find the tools and maps I need are tucked away beneath the surface of things in the secret pockets of my own heart. I can measure my steps from here to there in months and years and countless joys, countless pains. A landscape that echoes the altitude of grief, the latitude of learning, the longitude of love. I have found my footsteps from years before, where I placed my feet in climbing rocks or stood barefoot in sand. In my knapsack of suede and blue, where I collect such souvenirs as shells, stones, and feathers, you carry something beyond the physical evidence of travel, harboring the echo of voice and image of heart that taught me, that taught you to celebrate and grieve, and allowed me, allowed you, allowed us to see how hearts could merge and remain a witness to the map of love. My spiritual friends, may we remain witnesses to our maps of love. I wish you, my fellow travelers, I wish you good baggage. May we treasure the memories, the experiences, the learning, the growing, the loss, the joy, the sorrow, and celebration. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Asher, come on back up. Come on back up. Take another bow. So, I don't need to give any words to why, if you're on our virtual campus this morning, we need your continued financial support. It allows us moments like that to bring that into your homes each Sunday from our Alluvial Avenue campus. And Alluvial Avenue campus, we don't need anything more than that to know why this place that nurtures young people, that welcomes our elders, that has our kids playing and laughing and learning that religion is for love and for joy. And so please be generous this morning on whatever campus you find yourself. In this spirit, please join me in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Here's a slide showing how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus, on our Alluvial Avenue campus, and there are always baskets at the door as you exit if you'd like to leave your donation there. May this church continue to be worthy of the many different forms of your gifts.
Hi, Tina Botts here again. It's been wonderful to share Sunday services with you this morning. Getting together with all of you and feeling the warmth of community has meant so much to me today. As we prepare to end our service and enter into the afternoon, please join us in our Chalice Extinguishing words.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope to see you all next week.
Just a few brief reminders before we have our closing words and our sung benediction. Sunday services and our Children's Sunday programming on Alluvial Avenue continue for 2 more weeks, including Sunday, July 3rd, and the return of our annual summer jazz service. You don't want to miss that. After July 3rd, we press pause for the next 4 Sundays, July 10th, 17th, 21st, 4th, and 31st. There are going to be no services on our Alluvial Avenue campus to give all of our Sunday staff a much-needed chance to rest and renew. While on our virtual campus, I'm so excited, we're going to offer links to attend virtual services at other Unitarian Universalist congregations around the country. Then our services and children's programming return both on our virtual campus and live on Alluvial Ave on Sunday, August 7th, as our new church year begins. Just a gentle reminder, heading out to exit, you just want to allow our socially distanced folks the opportunity to head out those doors first, then you can choose whatever door you prefer to exit. I'll be outside in the receiving line. Hope Hannah will join me there. Outside also, our it will be coffee hour, and I notice we have more and more tables set up because more and more people are staying. I hope, especially if you're new or newish, you will stay and maybe get to meet some of our amazing folks who are members and friends of the church. We also have our after-service sermon discussion table and questions. This is going to be a facilitated conversation about good baggage, about life's journeys, and it will be hosted this afternoon by the always affable Laura Siegel, right there at the door. Just reminding you, if you have youngins in your life, our Norelma Walker Youth Library Summer Reading Program is underway. Last but not least, we have a tradition. We like to welcome folks who are here for the first, second, or third time. We don't do it to embarrass you, but we are genuinely glad on this gorgeous day where you could have been anywhere, you chose to be with us. So if this is your first, second, or third time, please rise on our Alluvial Ave campus. Please acknowledge yourself in our Alluvial campus. And I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them. If you came in a pod, you can join hands. If not, hands over your hearts. May we measure our steps from here to there in months and years and countless joys and pains. May we carry within us a landscape that echoes the altitude of grief, the latitude of learning, the longitude of love. May we remain a witness to the map of love. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
2.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth.
2, 3, 4.